told you that new Pokemon in Winds and Waves were actually being teased in Pokemon Poketopia? We've got a ton to break down here in our Gen 10 Pokemon Winds and Waves leak and news update video. And what if I told you that we might be getting new Eeveelutions for Gen 10? Oh man, strap in. If Poketopia was a pass for you, I want to tell you that there's a few nuggets inside the game that are pointing towards new Pokemon coming in Generation 10 Winds and Waves. The first one being this. In Poketopia, there's a kind of artifact you can pick up that says, Shellos changes its color and appearance based on diet and environment it lives in. We are researching day and night in an attempt to create a heretofore unknown yellow Shellos. This could be our first signs of a new type of Shellos. We have East and West Shellos and Gastrodon, and with the introduction of Gen 10, it's very possible that we could get a North and South Shellos, one of which is yellow. This would fit very much so into the region, the Indonesia-like region. So some really cool context here from Soul Silver, highlighting the fact that there could be North and South forms, and it fits perfectly with the Wallace line of the region inspiration, which is of course where you've got some really interesting evolution of real life species and how they've kind of had branching evolution paths to create different creatures on different parts of the world. So this is some really cool stuff, and I think it's important they highlight here that in BDSP, they had the book in the Canalave Library, The Seas Legend, which is about finding Manaphy and Fion, which was ultimately a side quest in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So obviously, lots of potential here that they're teasing, but what's crazy about this is it goes even deeper. There's a lot of stuff that we've now uncovered now that we've had our first Winds and Waves trailer that may actually give us hints into what could be coming, including potential new Eeveelutions. Now, I know we go through this every single generation. Are there going to be new Eevees? We have a pretty compelling argument this time, so it's going to be kind of wild. Soul Silver goes on to discuss that there's a ton of different Nudibranches and sea slugs in a Southeast Asian region. There's a ton of different types of slugs that you can have, and they've got some really cool imagery here of the different ones, including the boy Glaucus Atlanticus. When I saw that creature, I was like, yo, I need to make an Elestral after it, which is how we got the Sluggle, Globby, and Majesty line in my game. And I love the Glaucus Atlanticus, and I don't think that'll be what Gastrodon does, but I think it's a really cool bit of inspiration. You can see just how diverse some of these slugs can ultimately be. Now, here's the big deal. Nemona's house in Scarlet and Violet was a hint to future games, especially Generation 10, and then there's some really interesting paintings that are unaccounted for. So let's break this down. First thing first, when you look at Nemona's house, we now see the door with the stained glass Tropius. This was clearly a hint toward Gen 10. A lot of the times you just don't know about these things until after the fact because you see it and you're like, oh, it's a Tropius. But now that we know, based on the first scene of the trailer, this was certainly a hint, and we had this happen with Gmax Toxtricity in the past. I mentioned it with Manaphy and the Canalave Library. They've done this historically in many, many Pokemon games. Now it gets wilder, because inside Nemona's house, there's paintings on the wall. You've got the Hidden Ninja painting, which shows a giant shuriken from Greninja. Very clearly Greninja. We believe that this was a hint or a sign towards the DLC coming for Pokemon Legends ZA. Obviously, Mega Greninja being a part of that, you've got the opportunity to, tease it here in Scarlet and Violet. It seems as though that was the case. Then, take it another step further. We've got this underwater painting of Lumineon and Finneons. Now, obviously, this is where these Pokemon would exist. I'm not gonna, try to push it too hard, but we do believe that this was a sign of underwater exploration for Gen 10 Winds and Waves, and they were teasing it in front of us in Nemona's house. We know that they've done this in the past. We really believe that this is the case. So there may be other secrets that we can uncover over the coming weeks, both in Poketopia and in Scarlet and Violet, and maybe even past games that could give us some insight as to what we can expect going into Generation 10. But here's where things get really spicy, because there's one additional poster inside the house. It features 2 Eevees. Now, what could that mean? Why would they put 2 Eevees in the house? What is that pointing towards? We've got the door pointing towards Winds and Waves and the Lumineon poster as well, which appeared in Poketopia too. So another kind of push there. You've obviously got the Greninja, which was assigned towards the ZL DLC. What could 2 Eevees have to do with this little teaser here? The painting is entitled Sibling Love. It's pretty charming. So that would be really cool. I can see them potentially doing like an Espeon Umbreon type of situation, as Soul Silver points out as well, where they create 2 like contrasting Eeveelutions that come into the game at the same time. The long-awaited Dragon Eeveelution may not be too far away as we head towards Winds and Waves. What do you guys think? There's still a lot to uncover with Winds and Waves based on the information we've gotten from the trailers, so stay tuned to the channel as I'll be doing a breakdown on what we can expect the new starter Pokemon to potentially evolve into and much more. So subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Now, if you're someone who's skipping over Pokopia, there's a handful of new forms that are introduced inside the game. You probably know about Moslax and Pikachu from the trailers and even Smearguru, but I just wanted to update you guys on some of those types, as well as what you can expect and whether or not they'll make it into future Pokemon games. There is a new Tinkaton form called Tinkmaster. It's got a different hammer and hair. That could be a really interesting one, and I'd be curious to see if it ultimately makes it into the game. Smearguru remains a normal type in Pokemon Pokopia. Moslax remains a normal type as well. It's a really funny story. It's a Pokemon that tried to sleep off its bad mood after it lost a fight, but it slept so long that dirt piled on it, leaving it buried. During its long slumber, it forgot all about the Pokemon it lost to. And again, it remains normal type, so even though he gets all this moss over him, he's still a normal type. Pikachu remains an electric type. Worth noting, it's a really sad story. When its friends were sick, the Pokemon reportedly shared its own electricity with them. As a result, its physical structure changed and it became unable to generate electricity. That's why he's all sad and shriveled up. Very sad, little Pikachu. But here's the big piece of this, is DJ Rotom, baby. This is going to be a Pokemon in a future game. We have a lot of reason to believe that because this Rotom picked up a new typing. It's very important to note. It is not regular electric type. It is electric and normal type, which normal has been used as kind of like our sound type. We don't have a sound type in Pokemon. I don't think they'll ever add one, but you know, Exploud is normal type, things like that. Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, whatever. So I think that it makes a lot of sense for Rotom to become a sound type Pokemon, or a normal type in this case rather. So you've got electric and normal, which is massive because honestly, you can use this in a crazy way, bro. Boom Burst. Boom Burst Rotom? That sounds nuts. But I do believe that DJ Rotom is going to be coming to a future Pokemon title, most likely Winds and Waves, which could fit the island vibe. I could see them doing more stuff where you're gathering CDs or tracks for Rotom to play. Fun feature in Pokopia. Love it. Would love to see it integrated into a future game as well. But it does seem as though DJ Rotom will be making an appearance in a future Pokemon game as a competitive Pokemon. Maybe they'll even throw it in Champions sooner than later. The last thing I want to touch on, I've been seeing it a ton on my feed. There's an account called Pokemon League that has been posting basically videos, shorts of the 3 starter Pokemon, traversing the region, all this other stuff. Listen, this is AI, and I want to highlight this. As we enter this crazy leak and rumor season, now that we know Winds and Waves is out, people know what it looks like, people have an idea for the style, we are going to enter a territory of just the craziest fakes of all time, I think. I think it's going to be the craziest fake leak season we've ever seen. But we're going to do our best here on the channel to kind of sift through the weeds, bring you guys everything we can, call it out, make sure we get you guys the information that is relevant, and we're going to have a fun time, man. I'm super excited. We've got about a year, most likely a year, maybe even longer until Winds and Waves actually comes out. So we're going to have a blast in this channel, dissecting every trailer, diving into it all, and just seeing what's going on for Gen 10 because I'm super excited about it. What do you think? Brand new Eeveelutions or not? Are we reading too much into this? What type would you want to see most? Leave a comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new for more updates.